tripping.
The 6 days he finished his creations. All that's in the heavens, all that's in the earth. The 7th day he sanctified and made it holy. Moses told me, this day will be for a sign. Became a Jacob, established as a covenant. And all the brothers, Israel's keep dead. As the most outward day, treated as the light. The Sabbath began when the 6th day loses life. A holy convocation, that's a holy gathering. One that's reading out of his law in anticipation for a spiritual measure that Ahayah gives. Command not to buy or sell or to go on a journey. No land with your wife, I hope you heed the warning. Seek and do the things that please Ahayah only. Gather with his people, have a good time, break bread, drink wine. It's time to cast away the cares of this world for another day. The fishing of the eagles, other day. The holy days in the Bible are Sabbath too. Jubilees and his new moons. Know your pastor probably told you Sabbath any day. Take heed and do what Moses said. Let's open this Bible. Exodus chapter 31, starting at verse 13. Speak thou also to the children of Israel, saying, verily my Sabbaths ye should keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Ahayah that do sanctify you. For ye should keep the Sabbaths therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defiles shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul should be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest. Holy to Ahayah. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he should be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel should keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. Leviticus chapter 23, the middle of 32. From evening unto evening shall ye celebrate your Sabbaths. Everybody gather in a bus and style with a dance. If you're ready, you praise the most high with a dance. Come a circle, go inside with a dance. Just time this one right and you might get a chance. If you're shy, stay on the side with a dance. And the wise old man with heart right is a dance. The deaf hear a noise and the blind take a dance. One foot man in on the wheelchair rise with a dance. You love it when the sister them unite with a dance. When your vice rise when we fight with a dance. People know that I want it right for your dance. If you want Israelite then I fight for your dance.
When the high holy days come around, give glory to the Lord, it's a celebration. That's right. That's a vibe. That's right. Let's dance, get around. Let's dance, get around.
All right, and put a hole in the wall.
Let's dance, get around.
Where you?
Let's dance, get around. Lord, I'm your strength and liberty. Righteousness forever, life longevity. Giving them praise is my responsibility. In the new moon, and the feast days for liberty. Positive vibes, get rid of negativity. Preaches with God, and be fresher than celebrity. From New York City to Texas or Mississippi. Joyful noise in the time of festivity. Place for the life in a quiet and fidgety. Children are smile running wild and fidgety. Man a trick from when you look on them you see. Nobody not jump but them a sit on legacy. Culture is Israel a gathering a unity. Native black is one is them and them true identity. We got a second chance to cleanse from iniquity.
All that. You wouldn't do nothing no more, do you? Get too old. Get too old.
Let's dance, gather all around. Only one.
side. Everybody put this to the side. Come on. Add 2 on that. Start at 2, then skip down to 24. Okay. 1, 2. Shabbat Shalom, family. How everybody doing today? Okay. For everyone that was on the group meeting we had by via conference call, today I was trying to keep my word and say what I said. For those who were down the call, I said today I was not going to really be embracing anybody to try to respect whatever it is that we discussed. So no offense to anyone. I said that on the conference call. If I offended anybody, my apologies, but I said that. Okay, y'all want to do y'all thing, do y'all thing. I just said what I said. I'm doing what I said I was going to do. Next week, be Ahayah's will. I'll be hugging and kissing y'all. Okay? What you say now? Okay, going since some of y'all was not on the call, the premise of the call, what I asked, I'm like, the scriptures have been commanding us to be one in all things, not just some things. So my thing is, everything has to start with order. When you're dealing with the Most High and His people, it says, do all things in decency and order. It can't be in order if the leader don't know. I was informed of many situations of people and children being sick, and I had no clue. I don't understand that. Even in the law, when someone was sick, they were separated from the congregation until they was clean to keep the whole. So, like I heard that Addie had a fever last week, I would have told you to take her home. Don't leave her there with a fever. But I don't know this. So, going forward, if your mama's sick, cousin's sick, you've been around, let me know so I can make a decision righteously concerning the church. Okay, because without that information, then it could cause strife among the congregation that's unnecessary. Okay, it can cause offenses that's unnecessary. That's what chaos breeds. Evilness, wickedness. So let me know. Seriously, you've been around somebody, it's like even the people outside the church say, if you've been exposed to this, let them know. So if you've been exposed to, let me know. Okay? Let's be one. Today is the last day of summer. So, some people are saying this tomorrow, whatever they're doing. Hey, truthfully, none of us know. We're going to follow what we going to hold fast to what we know, and we're going to do the more blowing the trumpets today. Okay? Waking Highland Church do not do double Sabbaths. I never seen a double Sabbath in the Bible. The Most High never told us to gather food 40 hours. He told us to prepare the 6th day, so we had enough the 7th day. Because somebody made a calendar, don't make it a double Sabbath if it's off. Okay? But today's lesson, we're going to bring out the truth, what the memorial blowing of the trumpets really is. And if anybody, and when I'm saying I'm not shooting shots at nobody, I mean that with all my heart. If anybody is watching this church and are affiliated with the Gathering of Christ Church, send them this video. And I pray that the elders watch it, get the precepts, and teach it going forward. Because nowhere in the Bible does the Most High say that He gonna blow the trumpet, give us 10 days to prepare ourselves for Day of Atonement. The Most High give you today. Ain't nobody promised today. He can give you 10 days to go get right. The Day of Atonement. That's not in the Bible. Right? The day of the memorial blowing of trumpets is the day of assembly. Matter of fact, read it real quick. Before we do that, I want to give our praise to the Most High Ahayah. I'm Elder Ma'ad. This is Brother Iran from Waking Highland Church. Here through the Spirit of God, to present you another Sabbath lesson. And today's title is Memorial Blowing of the Trumpets. One of the Most High's high holy days. A day of remembrance. Okay? Let's get it. So this is what the memorial blowing of the trumpets really is, according to the scriptures. It's so important, even Josephus wrote about it. Okay? And we're going to read that also in this lesson. So I don't know what other churches teach about the memorial blowing the trumpets, but it has nothing to do with, you know, the distinct sounds of the trumpet told us this, and this sound told us that. We got to remember that. Matter of fact, read this verse.
Leviticus 23.
No, that.
The blowing of the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. The blowing of the trumpets feast day is a memorial and celebration of what is also called the day of the assembly.
Let's stop for a minute.
Huh.
Let's get what a memorial is. All right? Serving to preserve remembrance. Serving to preserve remembrance. So, when our fathers received the testimony, the covenant, the name of the true God of Israel, there was no blowing of the trumpets. We was not in our cities. We was not in our own land. We was not structured. So you can't remember something that you haven't done yet. Let's ponder on that. You can't remember something that we have not done yet. Right?
The blowing of the trumpets feast day is a memorial and celebration of what is also called the day of the assembly. 3 months after the God of the Hebrews redeemed them with the mighty hand from the bondage of the Pharaoh of Egypt, Ahayah told Moses to assemble the children of Israel and sanctify them before Mount Sinai. God came down from heaven in a strange fire on the top of the mountain and spoke all the words of his covenant, his laws, establishing and confirming his covenant, political government, and institutions with the children of Israel. The angels blew their trumpets exceedingly loud and long, announcing the arrival of the God of all gods to this holy convocation.
Those are the trumpets the Most Highest to remember. Now that sounds more relevant, more important than some distinct sounds and 10 days to get yourself right for the Day of Atonement. The day our God came down from heaven and established his covenant, he spoke with his own mouth, his own voice. He gave us a political government and everything that the children of Israel needed to live a good life. And we went into a contract with him that day. And now when we just read what I wrote, he came down in a dark cloud. We're going to read in Josephus that it wasn't just some dark cloud we see when it's about to rain. Mm-hmm. It was strange. It was different. A day of remembrance when the fire, everything was unlike anything our forefathers or we had ever seen. A day of remembrance when our God came down from heaven on top of Mount Sinai. And establish his covenant with us. We're going to prove that through precepts. Okay? Edina, since you joined in, sister, I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. I'm really looking forward to what you got to say. I pray it be the Most High will that you and the sister and the family from New York and Florida are able to come fellowship with us on the Feast of Tabernacles. I really pray it's his will that you are able to join us. Okay? But get in touch with me, okay? As you always do. So I pray it's his will that you are able to join us, on the campground and vibe with the family. Okay? Let's get it.
Leviticus chapter 23, verses 1 and 2, and dropping down to verses 24 and 25. Leviticus chapter 23. Con, when everyone's there.
Con.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 1 reads, And Ahayah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
Even these are my feasts. Now let's go down to 24.
24. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation.
And holy convocation.
Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High.
And we know we don't do the offerings anymore because Christ is the sacrifice, Pastor Jennings. So it's not because we ain't doing burnt offerings anymore that we don't got to do it. No, Christ is the sacrifice. So we, as the scriptures say, we must keep the feast, but without the burnt offerings. Okay, we're no longer animal sacrifice. It's no longer the propitiation for the children of Israel's sin. Christ's blood is. But we keep the feast. As we see the apostles, the disciples of the Messiah, after the Messiah's death and resurrection, keeping the feast. Okay? And so shall we. Next precept.
Exodus chapter 19, starting at verse 1. Exodus 19, starting at verse 1 through chapter 20, verse 2. Con, when everyone's there. Exodus chapter 19, verse 1 reads, In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Most High called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
So the Most High called. We're going to read in Josephus the difficulty of Mount Sinai.
Con.
A traveling up this mountain, right? But we're going to see that the Most High is making clear what he's about to do. Even's going to say in a minute, I'm going to speak to you out loud so the children of Israel know that I told you this. So no man can go up to the mountain and say, well, God told me. This what the Lord told me. They're gonna hear his voice. They're about to hear God's voice talking to Moses first. Then they're gonna hear his voice speaking to them. So he's affirming that this is his servant, this is the man he's speaking to, and this is what you should go back and tell my people. So you can't say, well, that's your opinion, that's your interpretation, that's what you think. No, they knew that God was talking to Moses. He wiped that out the way. So can't no man get it twisted. This ain't what Moses said. This what the Most High God Ahayah said. Read.
Verse 6, Exodus chapter 19. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
I said, if we obey his voice, what? If we obey his voice and what?
Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me.
A special treasure to him, if we obey his voice. So just because we know we're the children of Israel, like I say all the time, that don't make us be in the so-called truth. That don't make us special to him. It's a good thing that we have got our nationality back, but that don't make us special to the Most High. What make us a peculiar people? Obeying his voice. See? If we obey his voice, we become a peculiar people. Not as a whole, but individuals making up a whole. All Israel is not special to him. Most of Israel, he can't stand. But he's patient with us. I'm not saying, like, even in the law, it says that no one guilty will go unpunished. Okay? The guilty will not go unpunished. This is in the covenant he's about to give. Read to our forefathers and to us.
If you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
Above all people, ruling all people. Read.
For all the earth is mine.
all the earth is mine, and I give it to you. Read.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
A kingdom of priests, a holy nation, which be separate from all the other nations, because they'll be morally clean, ceremonially clean. See? In a world full of impiety, the children of Israel will be a holy nation to him, a pure people to him, if we obey his voice. If we obey his voice. Read.
And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Most High commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Most High hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Most High. And the Most High said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee.
See that? That the people what?
May hear when I speak with thee.
May hear when I speak with you. So no one, Satan can get no man or no woman to say that Moses said this. No, God said this. This ain't Moses' covenant. It's the Most High Ahayah's covenant. Read.
I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Most High.
Believe this forever. See, not just for the moment, but forever. We're reading this, and I thank the Most High for giving us the truth years ago concerning this holy day. Because this is forever. We have to remember this forever. When he came in the thick cloud, established his covenant, gave us his way of life, his government. Read.
And the Most High said unto Moses, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Most High will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai.
He gonna do what?
Come down in the sight of all the people.
Come down from heaven in the sight of all the people. This is a great day of remembrance, my people. Read.
And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned, or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long.
When who?
When the trumpet soundeth long.
By who? When the trumpet sounded long, not man's trumpets. The angels. We're going to read that. Read.
When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount.
See? When the trumpet sounded long, so this is to be more of the angels blowing the trumpets, not Israel. Israel wasn't blowing not one trumpet. They were scared for their life. Okay? So they got nothing to do with no 10 days get right, blow the trumpet, the Day of Atonement. That's garbage. That's blasphemy. That's folly. That's adding to the law. And I pray that brother get this lesson and repent and teach the truth concerning this holy day. The Most High, you see, the Most High even play. You can't even touch the border. Come on. He that add to his law or take anything away should receive the plagues of this law. The more blowing trumpets is what we're reading about right now today. God's feast day, his memorial. We came down in the presence of our fathers and gave what he only gave to us. His covenant, his laws, commandments, ordinances, his name. And we're gonna go through the name too, because that's important. He told Moses before this his name, but now he will come down and establish his name again. Himself. So there should be no confusion. But we're going to show you the confusion and how really it lays in one's heart to not believe what you're about to hear. Read.
Exodus chapter 19, verse 14. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives.
Y'all know what that means, because when you lay with your wife, it defile you, and so stay clean. Read.
And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that that there were thunders and lightnings.
Now it says thunders and lightning and thick cloud. We're going to see these are not regular thunders. These are not regular lightnings. This ain't a regular thick cloud. Okay? Read.
Thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud.
And who?
The voice of the trumpet exceeding loud.
The voice of the trumpets exceedingly loud. Now imagine that. Angelic trumpets blowing exceedingly loud. Read.
So that all the people that was in the camp trembled.
Trembled, terrified. Read.
And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God.
To do what?
To meet with God.
Holy convocation.
Con.
To meet. This is a holy convocation. They're meeting their God. This ain't no God of gold, no God of silver. This is the God of all gods. Bring my people before me. I will speak with them.
Con.
He's the true living God. Read.
And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God. And they stood at the nether part of the mount.
And we're going to read why they had to come out of their tents. He made it rain. It poured down like you in Florida. It was perfectly sunny, and all of a sudden, boom, they ran it in their tents. Read.
And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because Ahayah descended upon it in fire. And the
Because who?
Ahayah descended upon it in fire.
He descended from heaven, from his throne. He came down top of the mount. The King of all kings, the God of all gods.
Con.
Not to the whole world, but to his chosen people. Israel. Read.
And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace.
See, this is why the nation's history shouldn't even matter to us. This ain't in their history books. It's in ours. Nowhere you learned in school that the God of heaven that created the heavens and earth came down from heaven and talked to his chosen people and gave them commandments and laws, a way of life. Political government to rule the whole earth. Remember, he said that you should be above all people. He gave them a political government. He taught men how to love him, fear him, love and treat their neighbor, their own families, and the neighbors and the Gentiles.
Con.
Read.
And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly.
So this ain't no regular volcano eruption. You see? Read.
Verse 19. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake.
Again, the who?
The voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder.
Wax louder and louder. There'll be more of the blowing of the trumpets, these trumpets people. Read.
Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Most High came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mount. And Ahayah called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Most High said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Most High to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also which come near to the Most High sanctify themselves, lest Ahayah break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Most High, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, Set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. And the Most High said unto him, Away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto the Most High, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people, and spake unto them. And God spake all these words, saying.
And who?
And God spake all these words, saying.
Read.
I am Ahayah thy God.
Now understand this. Where we at?
Chapter 20, verse
2?
2.
We're going to stop there, right? Mm-hmm. Read that verse 2 again.
Con. And God spake all these words, saying, I am Ahayah thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the
Out of the who?
House of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. So prior to this, let's get chapter 3. The Most High is not giving them a different name he gave Moses. He didn't say, I am Jehovah. I am Jah. I am Yah. I am whoever these people are calling upon. He gave Moses his name, and he said it again.
Exodus chapter 3, verses 13 through 15. Exodus 3, verse 13. And Moses said unto God, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The God of your fathers have sent me unto you.
The God of who?
The God of your fathers.
Not the God of the Egyptians whose land he just redeemed us from, but the God of our fathers. Read.
When I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The God of your fathers have sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am.
Now that's not the Most High again answering Moses, giving him his name. He's confirming that he's the God of our fathers. I am what I am. He said, when the God of your fathers say unto me, I am what I am. I am the God of your fathers. He's going to say it again. But watch what he says when he say what his name is. He's not saying his name is Ahayah. I am that I am Ahayah, sure Ahayah. That's not his name. What did he say?
And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you.
Who?
Ahayah have sent me unto you.
I am Ahayah in English. He's not saying Ahayah, sure Ahayah. That's not his name. Ahayah, I am that I am. He's just saying I am what I am. I am the God of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's going to establish that again. If his name was Ahayah, sure Ahayah, he would say, read that again.
And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you.
He's giving Moses his name. He said, Thus should you say to my people. He didn't say Ahayah, sure Ahayah. He says Ahayah is my name. I am in English, Ahayah in Hebrew. Not Jah, Yah, none of that. So we need to stop with the confusion, but I get it for those who don't have a heart for this. You don't believe that the Most High said something different. He did not. It has nothing to do with no pictorial, nothing. No pictures, no symbols, nothing. He said, I am. He did not say, tell them I am and sent you and give them the definition of what my name means. So let's not dig into foolishness trying to figure out what a name means and then come up with a name for what the definition means. He said, I am. Not Jah, not Yah, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, none of that. Whatever other name y'all come up with, it's blasphemy. I am, Ahayah, have sent you. Read.
Verse 15.
And I'm going to tell you this. I heard a blasphemous song from someone who is a dear sister of mine and some other people, giving their opinion of what God's name means. That's blasphemous. I hope somebody give her this video too. I heard God got many names. No, he don't. He got one.
Come on, bring it out.
His name matters. It's like your name matters. Your name, cats, dogs, birds, fishes, everything, but Most High name don't matter. His name matters. He was angry at our fathers because we forgot his name for Baal. And these other names are names for Satan. Baal, Yahweh, Yah, Jah. He don't have many names. His name is to be highly exalted, not his names. He came down from heaven and gave us his name. We're going to show you the confusion and the deception. Let's get it.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. And God said, moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Ahayah, God of your fathers.
That's what he was confirming to Moses the first time. I am that I am. He's the who?
God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have sent me unto you. This is my name forever.
His who?
This is my name forever.
No S on that. This is my name forever.
And this is my memorial unto all generations.
This is my memorial, a day of remembrance of what he told Moses his name was, not to ever be forgotten or confused with some other gods. Now let's go to the next precept.
Exodus chapter 6, verses 2 and 3.
We're going to see where the Jewish masters came in and planted their God name in this book, our book. Notice what the Most High just told Moses. Okay? But the Gentiles put their name of their God in our records. But we know what God told Moses. Read.
Verse 2. And God spake unto Moses, and said unto him, I am the Most High. And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty. But by my name, Jehovah, was I not known to them.
So the Most High not the author of confusion. We know what the Most High just told Moses. Ahayah. So he said that he didn't give his name to our fathers. They knew him as the God Almighty or the Most High God. They knew his many gods. Abraham knew there was many gods. His father served many gods. But the Most High God, the God Almighty, the Almighty God, I mean, he's above all other gods. He's more powerful than all the gods he created. He didn't give him his name. He's not going to say his name is Ahayah and then come back and say Jehovah. This was implanted by the Jewish Jesuits, Satan's ministers, them devils from the Roman Catholic Church. See? Next precept.
Psalms chapter 68, verse 4.
Psalm 68, verse 4. Sing to God. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Jah. See? Another implant. By his name, Jah. So people read this, say, he had a mean name. No, they put that there. That's their God, Jah, Yah. That's not his name. He told Moses his name is Ahayah. And rejoice before him. Don't get it twisted, people. That's not his name. That was planted there. And in fact, as we know, this is in Hebrew. There was no J's in Hebrew. But it don't matter if it was a J or not. His name, he said, was Ahayah. Again, Satan is the author of confusion. So everyone calling him Jah and Yah and Yahweh and Jehovah, your God, truthfully, whether you believe me or not, is Satan. That's not his name. His name is important. Throughout the Bible, his name was in these records over 1,000 times. And all the prophets, David, all of them sung songs, praises to his name. They all knew his name, Ahayah. He didn't go from Ahayah to Jehovah to Jah, Yah. He said, this is my name forever, the memorial of his name forever throughout all generations. It will not change. It's incommunicable, unchangeable. Let that sink in. Okay? Let's get it.
Exodus chapter 15, verses 1 and 2. Exodus chapter 15, verses 1 and 2. Come when everyone's there. Exodus chapter 15, verse 1 reads, Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto Ahayah, and spake, saying, I will sing unto Ahayah, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea.
So Moses was inspired to sing a song with the children of Israel praising their God. Now, what name think Moses using? He just asked the Most High what his name. Right now, if I ask somebody what their name is, made a song for them, I'm going to say the name that they told me. He's singing praises to his name. The name that the Most High Ahayah gave him. Read.
Verse 2. Ahayah is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him in habitation. My father's God, and
Who's God?
My father's God.
What did the Most High say when he said, I am that I am?
I am the God of your fathers.
Who?
The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
See? That God. The God of the Hebrews. The God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said his name is Ahayah. Moses is not singing a song. In one verse, he's saying Ahayah. The next verse, he's saying Jah. The next verse, he's saying Yah. As those people did in that garbage song. Blasphemous. I don't care how y'all feel about it. I care about how the Most High, Ahayah, my God, feels about it. He don't have many names. Anyone that don't receive his name, the only reason you will not receive his name is because you're not his. And like your God and the gods and the heathens, like these heathen gods, your God, his name is dreadful. So they make excuses. Oh, well, it's his nickname. He don't got no nickname. Put some respect on his name. Get me hot in this thing. Talk about my God. Let's get it.
Come on. Get verse 2 again. Ahayah is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him in habitation. My father's God.
My father's God.
And I will exalt him.
And I will exalt him, as we are doing this day.
Come on.
Read.
Exodus chapter 20, verses 3 through 26.
Now the Most High is about to read his covenant, speak his covenant into our hearts, into our minds. Read.
Exodus 20, verse 3 reads, Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Understand that. We're going to get here in a minute where he's going to say you saw no similitude. Show them no similitude, no image of him, so we wouldn't get it confused and try to create an image of him. It's going to bring out in the precept. Read.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Ahayah thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, until the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Ahayah thy God in vain.
Go ahead.
For Ahayah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Thou should not take his name in vain. Read.
For Ahayah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
He will not hold, he what?
Will not hold him guiltless.
Will not hold you guiltless. Read.
That taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Ahayah. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Anyone that doesn't know how to operate on the Sabbath, we did a lesson last Shabbat, how to operate on the Sabbath. Go to our YouTube page, Awakening Ahayah Select Church, and watch that lesson.
For in 6 days Ahayah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is.
Not 6 literal days. A day to the Most High is as 1,000 years. These are not 6 days like Sunday to Saturday. Okay? Read.
And rested the seventh day. Wherefore Ahayah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
He blessed the Sabbath day, the seventh day, and hallowed it. He sanctified this day. He put a high importance on this day. Let me see something real quick. Sirach, chapter 33. I'm gonna start at verse 8. No, I'm sorry at. I'm gonna start at verse 7. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, in the Apocrypha.
33.
33.
33.
It says, "Why do one day excelleth another, when as all the light of every day is in the year is of the sun? By the knowledge of the Most High they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Some of them have he made high days, and hallowed them, and some of them have he made ordinary days." See? This is a high day for the Most High that he hallowed. His Sabbaths are also feast days. The other 6 days are ordinary days, but this day is a hallowed day. See? A high day. To him. No man can take that away from him. He's the creator of day and night and days and seasons and feasts. Okay?
Back to Exodus chapter 20, picking up at verse 12. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. And it reads, "Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Ahayah thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill.
And we're going to see that in Josephus, when he go through, he had the proper word there, thou shalt not murder. Okay? It's not thou shalt not kill. You can kill in self-defense. You can kill an animal to eat. Okay? Murder is premeditated evil. Read.
Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's."
And for the record, ox is a cow. Okay? I seen a long time ago, it was funny, but he just don't have knowledge of the Bible. Cat Williams. He was saying, we never seen nobody raise no oxen, right? But no, brother, ox is a cow. That's what oxtails are, cow tails, okay? Let's get it. A cow, son. Let's go.
Verse 18. 18. "And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet."
And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet. Again, not their own trumpets, the angelic trumpets.
Con.
Read.
"And the mountain smoking.
And the mountain smoking.
And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off."
When they saw it, they was removed and ran afar off and said what?
Verse 19, and they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die.
Let who?
Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die.
You see that? The mighty voice of the Almighty God put dread in their hearts. This wasn't Moses speaking. This was the Most High Ahayah establishing his covenant. And according to the law, under the testimony of two or more witnesses, every matter is established. The Most High spake, and then he had Moses speak, and it established his covenant. And we said, Amen.
Come.
We signed the contract with all that the Most High Ahayah commands to do, we should do. Amen. Read.
20, and Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near into the thick darkness.
We were to remember that sight, put ourselves there. And as I say all the time, we are to respect these adversaries, these demons, but not fear them. But to show you how cunning our adversaries are. Remember, we just came out of Egypt. He told us to remember that, how he redeemed us with a mighty hand. He came down from heaven and spake. They afraid for their life. And they still sinned.
Come.
We are to remember this dreadful sight. Our people had quick amnesia and still sinned. This was to put fear in our hearts so that we would not sin. So understand who we're up against. Read.
And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. And the Most High said unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven.
You have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Let me ask y'all a question. The gods Satan used Aaron to create, did they speak? Okay.
Come.
Read.
Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold.
See? The nation's gods can't talk. They can't do what the Most High just did. We're going to read that at the end of this lesson, what the Most High did. So we get a better visual of this day in the sight that was for our forefathers' eyes. The nation's gods can't do that. Read.
Verse 24, an altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps into my altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon.
Come. He established the covenant with our forefathers on this great day. Next precept.
Exodus chapter 34, verses 5 through 16. Exodus 34, starting at verse 5. Count when everyone's there.
A covenant is a contract, an agreement.
Exodus chapter 34, verse 5 reads, and the Most High descended in the cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Ahayah.
He did what?
Proclaimed the name of Ahayah.
He proclaimed his name again to the children of Israel. Ahayah. Same name he gave Moses the first time. He didn't give Moses another name. The same name. He didn't say Jah. He didn't say Yah. He didn't say Yahweh. He didn't say Jehovah. None of the other names that these men have created. As the Bible says, to new gods, which our fathers didn't know. They got new names. He came down in the cloud and proclaimed his name. He gave it to Moses They didn't hear God give Moses his name the first time. And Ahayah descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of himself. The name. He didn't say, yeah, Moses, go down there and tell them that that they didn't call me Ahayah. They didn't call me Yah. They didn't call me Yahweh. It don't matter. He proclaimed his name, showing us that it's important to him. Read.
6. And the Most High passed by before him and proclaimed, Ahayah, the Most High God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty.
And will by no means clear the guilty. Those who are not truly repentant in their heart and have a contrite spirit and willingness to obey. I was talking to a brother yesterday in this church through the Spirit of the Most High. Understand this, people. The brother said it's a fight against sin. I said, really? It's not a fight. A lot of people may disagree with that. But how the Most High brought out the session that I had with the brother, we started with the knowledge of our hope. The hope that he has laid before us. And then we went into other records. And it says that the things for the present are for the present. The things that's in this world is for this world. But the things for the next world to come is for that world. Everything in this world was created by Satan. Everything, every lust, temptation, snare is a bait to death. Everything that you lust after. That's why Christ says his kingdom is no part of this world. Anything that you love, like I told the brother, it's like a landmine. The things for the present is for the present. This is not God's world. This ain't what the Most High created. This is a world full of landmines. So we love the landmines. It's like crack. That first hit of sin. All our life we chasing Jason. Whole life we're thinking about the sensation of whatever the lust, the fulfillment of this lust of the flesh is, but not really realizing that it's a landmine. It's going to destroy you. The Messiah said, cut it off. If this stomach you, cut it off. He didn't say fight. He said, cut it off. So I asked the brother, okay, you said it's a fight, right? That's how we got to see sin. I say this all the time. We got to see sin as vomit. I say, let's say you were eating a while and you starving, you hungry, and I threw up. Would you eat it? Brother said, nah. Where's the fight? There ain't no fight. Brother said, nah. I wouldn't eat it. But you starving though, right? Eat, live. Brother said, nah. See? Who really desire life? And who in their heart has established a covenant with death? By their fruits, you should know them. So if you're saying you're fighting, okay. You still love sin. See, it's about knowledge. I was telling you, it's about knowledge of the Most High. Like, that's what he's establishing right now. Look at the sight that you see. You was in Egypt, you didn't see that. Their guys wasn't doing this. They had big old tall statues of men, creatures. They never caused this visual. It was established fear in their hearts of the true and living God. Recognize that there's no other God like him. So we truly have knowledge and understanding of him. How can you sin against him? And I say that with boldness because the Bible says that if it was possible to deceive the elect ain't sinning. The Bible says, and they would not sin. So the true sons and daughters of Zion will not sin. We had a little session not too long ago as a little group. And the question was, what is the daughter of Zion? It ain't the filth that we see before us today. It's the extreme opposite. Every woman in this church is not a virtuous woman. She's not a daughter of Zion. A true daughter of Zion is feminine. Where's my book? I left it at home. Remind me to read y'all something from the cave of treasures. When Adam was formed. How the Most High exalted him and put a crown on his head and told all the creation, the birds, everything, come worship his image. Satan refused. Him and his angels was cast out and was stripped naked of their glory. They're naked right now. They have not what they was created with. They're naked, ugly, disgusting looking. They lost their glory because they refused to worship the image of God. The true daughters of Zion understand that these men that are in Christ are sons of Zion, the kings of the earth. And the true sons of Zion ain't willfully sinning. They're righteous, fearing the Most High, valiant men. So, those men, those women who obey his commandments in all things are the true daughters and sons of Zion. That's those who will make it into the kingdom, their habitations will be paradise. And the rest who just talk good but don't have no works and no fruits should be gathered by the angels and burned in the flames of eternal fire. Next precept.
Still in Exodus chapter 34, middle of verse 7. And it reads, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children until the third and to the fourth generation.
See, there's no escaping. Visiting means he's destroying. We lead our children astray, we get destroyed, and our children get destroyed. Read.
And Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshipped. And he said, if now I have found grace in thy sight, O Ahayah, let my Lord, I pray thee, go among us. For it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. And he said, behold, I make a covenant.
I make a who?
I make a covenant. It's been saying this, but we still live, though.
Okay. I establish a covenant. Read.
Before all thy people I will do marvels, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation, and all the people among which thou art shall see the work of the Most High. For it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee.
Terrible means dreadful thing. We're going to read about the dreadful thing. It's a dreadful thing that he's about to do. Read.
Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Take heed to thyself.
All African nations from Ham. Read.
Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither thou goest.
See, He established covenant with us. Our covenant is with him, no one else. The covenant we make with him leads to righteousness. It is our prosperity. It is our righteousness. It is a glorious way of life. But our covenant with the adversaries, the nations, leads to what? Read.
Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. But ye,
So it be for a snare. The covenant we make with the nations is a snare. It leads to our destruction. Because the covenant with them leads to us doing what? Serving their gods and doing their holidays. Like in 2 days, they'll be celebrating their what? Labor Day. I didn't see that in Leviticus 23, though. But our people have established a covenant with the people round about us. We're serving their gods and doing their holidays. Read.
13. But ye shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves.
See? Their places of worship, their false idols, gods. We should burn them. They be a snare to us. Why? Because the foundation of them, the formulation of them, what? The premise of them all is to entice us to sin against our God, to break his laws, to serve other gods. Read.
Verse 14. For thou shalt worship no other God, for Ahayah, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
Now, I don't hear nobody calling him jealous. It says jealous there.
Come on.
Heard anybody arguing you that his name is jealous?
Never.
But they say this. It says Jah. It says Jah there. It says Jehovah. But y'all ain't saying his name jealous.
Come on.
What he said his name was? Ahayah. They implanting this stuff in the Bible, but y'all not saying his name is jealous though. I ain't seen nobody with a shirt on saying jealous is my God. The name of my God. Heard not one song. It says jealous. It's in the Bible. The same way Jehovah's in the Bible, he says that whose name is jealous. Now you see the trick, the mental trick. Whose name is Ahayah, the same name he gave Moses, is a jealous God. Angry when we serve other gods. Yes, son. No, I want somebody to argue me that. What Israelite group walking around talking about their God name is jealous? Because they see it in the Bible. See, it make no sense. You know it's planning there. Whose name is jealous? He's a jealous God. Whose name is Ahayah? He's a jealous God. Angry God. If we make a covenant with the other nations and serve their gods, he said, go burn down their places of worship and their idols. See? Yes, son. Be serious now.
So they're not. I thought that they're not trying, but they didn't call him that because I think they're trying to.
Talking to the mic, son.
I think they're trying not to like. They think it's offending him, so they trying to like. Cause they think. I thought that they think if they say that, something will happen to him.
You think if they say what?
That he's my God name is jealous.
No, son. What happened was the people that rule over us, they print out our Bibles, and so they put names. They took God's true name out and put other titles and names where his name originally was at. Okay, that's what we're seeing now. He's told Moses his name was Ahayah. Then chapters over, it says Jehovah. That was somebody took the true name of God out and put Jehovah there. Somebody took the true name of God out, Ahayah, and put jealous there to confuse us. So that's one day, like now, people say he has many names. So I was just saying I have not heard anybody argue that his name is jealous, as we get with all the other names that we see in the Bible. He said his name. He published his name. He never had multiple names. He said his name was Ahayah, and that is for all generations to remember. Okay? Next precept.
Last two verses, verse 15 and 16. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. And thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a whoring after their gods.
This is why we're supposed to stick to our own nation. Because we see now our people have made a covenant with the heathen. We're worse than the heathen. So even being our own people leads us to a snare. Because we've been so indoctrinated into what the Most High said do not do, we believe that the nation gods are our gods. But we see being as them, doing as they do, only leads to us serving their gods. At the end of the day, it's an enticement to serve their gods. So whether our people want to sensationalize it or romanticize it, what they want to do, and say that it's Labor Day, it's Christmas, it's Christ's birthday, whatever God said, don't do it. But it's all leads us to sin against our God. Dealing with these people in any way, shape, fashion, form of their culture, it's all a snare. What the Most High is saying, and it angers him. Because when we try to be like them, it leads to us serving their gods. We go to their churches, we're serving their gods. There's no way around it. If we love this world, it's their world. It's their world. We are supposed to be as pilgrims, someone who's not a part of the world, although we're in the world. Operating solely on what our God commands. Next precept.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verses 1 through 5. Deuteronomy 33, starting at verse 1. Count when everyone's there. Verse 1 reads, And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, Ahayah came from Sinai, and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000 of saints from his right hand with a fiery law for them.
He came with 10,000 saints. Those are the ones who's blowing the exceedingly loud trumpets, the angels. He gave us a what? A fiery law. It's written with the finger of God. Even in the little cartoon and what's that we watch? Super. They show it was like lightning writing the words. A fiery law. Read.
Verse 3. Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. And he was king in Jeshurun, when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together.
The day of assembly. Before Moses' death, he was causing them to remember what the Most High established with Jacob. A fiery law, a covenant, a contract, a way of life, a government, institutions. Read.
Next precept, Judges chapter 5, verses 2 through 5. It's Judges chapter 5, verses 2 through 5. Count when everyone's there.
All praises, Hartley.
Judges chapter 5, verse 2 reads, Praise ye Ahayah for the avenging of Israel. when the people willingly offered themselves. Hear, O ye kings, give ear. O ye princes, even I will sing unto the Most High.
So when the people willingly offered themselves, we won't get to Josephus. We're going to see that we started out righteous. We desired his law. We willingly offered ourselves. All that the Most High command we would do. They were zealous for him at first. But Satan overcame them. Read.
Hear, O ye kings, give ear. O ye princes, even I will sing unto Ahayah. I will sing praise unto Ahayah, God of Israel. Ahayah, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens dropped. The clouds also dropped water.
The clouds also dropped water. We're going to read about that. Read.
The mountains melted from before Ahayah, even that Sinai, from before Ahayah, God of Israel.
See? They remember that day. But see all these songs are not been sung with multiple names. It's like me, I got 170 some songs. That's like me, having all these songs. One song I'm singing this name, this song, this. Like, what God does dude serve?
Con.
Let's go. No, is it?
Next precept. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 16 through 19.
Done.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 16 through 19. Con, when everyone's there. Verse 16. According to all that thou desirest of Ahayah thy God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly.
The day of who?
In the day of the assembly.
The day of the assembly, also known as the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets, the day of assembly, when our people gather themselves together before the mount and receive the testimony and the covenant of the Most High God Ahayah. The day of assembly. Read.
Saying, let me not hear again the voice of Ahayah my God.
See? Read.
Neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not.
This, like I said, this ain't no ordinary volcano, no ordinary fire. However it looked, our forefathers was afraid for their lives.
Con.
Read.
And Ahayah said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren.
Speaking about who? See, the prophet will be an Israelite, not an Ishmaelite. My Muslim brothers and sisters. Muhammad was not a prophet of the Most High, of the God of the Hebrews. Matter of fact, he was no prophet at all. The prophet will come from who?
From among their brethren.
Among their brethren. Jacob. Not Ishmael.
Con.
Read.
I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
And for all those who believe Christ was God, the Most High said he would raise up a prophet like unto Moses. Not himself, his son. And he would speak all his words.
Con.
He would not come down to earth and speak his words. He said, I will raise up them a prophet of your brethren, like unto you, of the seed of who? Jacob.
Con.
From the tribe of Judah, his father David, his father Joseph. See? From seed of man. The Most High has never been seed of man. He is the creator of the seed of men. Read.
Verse 19. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
See that? Which he speak in the Most High's name. Meaning that Christ will be the representative, the word of God. Read. Next precept.
Hebrews chapter 12, verses 18 through 28. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 18 through 28. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 18 through 28. Con, when everyone's there.
We're going to see that the apostles are not confused about what the day of assembly, the great day of memorial blowing of the trumpets is or was. Read.
Verse 18. For ye are not coming to the mount that might be touched, and that burn with fire, nor unto blackness and darkness and tempest.
Storm. Read.
And the sound of a trumpet.
The sound of who?
The sound of a trumpet. And the voice of words, which voice they that heard entreated that the word should not be spoken to them any more. For they could not endure that which was commanded. And if so much as a beast touch the mountain, it shall be stoned or thrust through with a dart. And so terrible was the sight.
So dreadful was the sight.
That Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake.
I exceedingly fear and quake. So dreadful was this sight. The day of remembrance, the day of assembly, the memorial of the blowing of the angelic trumpets.
Con.
Read.
But ye are coming to Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn.
See? This ain't the old covenant, where our fathers assembled before Moses in the Most High. Us under the new covenant, where Christ is the propitiation for sin. See? It says what?
To the general assembly.
To the general assembly. And that ain't all Israel people. Those are they who are one with the Messiah, who Christ has established, who the Most High has established his new covenant with that prophet. Through that prophet, he prophesied through Moses. This is the new covenant, those who make up that general assembly, not the general assembly that was in the wilderness. Read.
And church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect.
See, to the spirits of the righteous man made perfect, contrary to the worldly view of perfection. Through the knowledge and counsel and commandments and laws and orders of God, the Most High Ahayah, man and woman will be made perfect if they obey the voice of him. Read.
And to Yasha, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling, that speaketh better things than that of Abel.
See? Read.
See that ye refuse not him that speaketh. For if they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape, if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth. But now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven.
Come.
And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of those things that are shaken.
Now you see why the scriptures tell us to stand firm,
Con.
unmovable in our faith.
Con.
Because when the Messiah comes, anything that is disobedient in heaven and on earth shall be destroyed. Read.
And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of those things that are shaken, as of things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain.
God.
Wherefore, we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have grace, whereby we may serve God acceptably.
Serve God who?
Acceptably.
Acceptably to him, not to our own heart, of our own heart. We must serve God that in a way that's acceptable to him, which he commands. With what?
With reverence and godly fear.
With reverence and godly fear.
For our God is a consuming fire.
Remember that.
Next precept, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 through 58.
See, nowhere in the Bible is talking about you got 10 days, get yourself together for the more blowing trumpets. The Day of Atonement. No, they know, they remember. They're celebrating it every year. Referring back to that great day.
First Corinthians chapter 15, verses 51 through 58. Con, when everyone's there. Verse 51 reads, Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound.
And again, who's sounding these trumpets? The angels,
Con.
not man. Okay? Just as the angels blew the trumpets, at the arrival of the God Almighty, they shall blow them again at the arrival of the one that's coming in his name. See? Read.
52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. But thanks be to God, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yasha, our Messiah. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable.
Be you what?
Steadfast.
What?
Unmovable.
So we are not shaken at the arrival of the Messiah.
Con.
We are not compromised. We have not defiled ourselves with sin. Read.
Always abounding in the work of the Most High, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Most High.
Our labor in the Most High is not in vain.
Con.
He will reward us. The kingdom and immortality. Next precept.
Jude chapter 1, verses 14 through 21. Jude chapter 1, verses 14 through 21. Con, when everyone's there. Jude chapter 1, verse 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Messiah cometh with 10,000 of his saints.
When the Most High came, who he come with?
10,000 of his saints. Con.
Blowing the trumpets at the arrival of the God of all gods. His son coming in the same fashion.
Con.
Enoch prophesied of this day. The Messiah is coming with 10,000 of his saints in the wrath of the God Almighty. Read.
To execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lusts, and their mouth speaketh great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage. But beloved, remember ye the words which were spoken before of the apostles of our Messiah, Yasha, how that they told you there shall be mockers in the last time, who shall walk after their own ungodly lusts. These be they who separate themselves, sensual, having not the Spirit. But ye, beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Spirit, keep yourselves in the love of God, looking for the mercy of our Messiah Yasha unto eternal life.
Should I say more? We've seen the blessings that that corruptible will put on incorruptible. The mortal will put on immortality. That's the reward of the righteous. And we just read about the reward of the unrighteous. And it goes to show why they will be destroyed. It says, who shall walk after their own ungodly lusts. As I say, I was talking to one of our brothers yesterday. It said everything in Satan's kingdom is ungodly. And he has programmed us to lust after death. That's just the bottom line. No matter what you think you're struggling with, it leads to death. Once you have that understanding that it leads to death, Why wouldn't you cut it off? Why would you cut it off? Like I say, if you don't, then it says you made a covenant with death. You love this. You'd rather seek the pleasure of this life than the joy of the world to come. When everything in this life is about to be destroyed with you, and it's God's. Make that make sense. I was telling my wife this morning, I said, that's what the Messiah was saying. When he says, and what profit is it if man gain the whole world and lose his soul? Mm-hmm. Like he's saying, like, this is a perverse world. We have been taught the mystery of the hope. This is a perverse, wicked world. Look at it. Look at what Satan's promoting. Why he lust after this? Why should we die, Israel? Next precept.
We got this one right here.
Pass it. I got it twice. Yep.
Yeah. Hebrews chapter 4.
Yeah, I that was separate. That was down here. I moved it up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hebrews chapter 4, verses 9 through 20.
We did Hebrews 12 already. Huh? Where we at?
Stop at verse 16.
Oh, okay.
Hebrews chapter 4,
Did it?
verses 9 to 16. That's all they got. 16.
Okay. Where we at?
Hebrews chapter 4.
That's the wrong one there. Let me see.
Yeah. Chapter 6, go to 20.
No, let's skip that. Let me see. Yeah, let's skip that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5.
Deuteronomy chapter 5, verses 1 through 33. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 1. Con, when everyone's there. Verse 1 reads, And Moses called all Israel, and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them, and keep and do them. Ahayah our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Most High made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day.
So the day of assembly, the more blowing trumpets, the Most High did what?
Made a covenant.
Made a covenant with us, with our fathers. Read.
The Most High talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire.
So that's why I say, if anybody who's affiliated with the Gathering Christ Church, please, I'm serious. I'm serious. If you have any connection, whatever, send this video to the elders so that we be one. Seriously, this is the day of the assembly, the more blowing the trumpets. It's not what they're teaching. And I pray that they humble enough to receive correction and teach it. Same way that they prayed that the Christian church humble themselves and receive their doctrine. Add the truth, this portion, to your doctrine. Any other Israelite group who claim to serve the Most High God. Let's get it.
Verse 5. I stood between Ahayah and you at that time, to show you the word of Ahayah, for ye were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount, saying, I am Ahayah thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I, Ahayah thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Ahayah thy God in vain, for Ahayah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day, to sanctify it, as Ahayah thy God hath commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Ahayah thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt, and that Ahayah thy God brought thee out of thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore Ahayah thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. Honor thy father and thy mother, as Ahayah thy God hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee in the land which Ahayah thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, neither shalt thou commit adultery, neither shalt thou steal, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. These words Ahayah spake unto all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and he added no more.
He added no more. Neither can we. Or take anything away. Read.
And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone.
Who?
And the
Most High wrote what?
And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me.
So, does this not sound like a day of remembrance? This is the day of remembrance, people. The day of assembly, the memorial blowing of the angelic trumpets. It had nothing to do with man's trumpets. No sound, none of that. Even the last trump is angelic trumpets being blown, announcing the arrival of the great king, Yasha.
Con.
Read.
And it came to pass, when ye heard the voice of out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders. And ye said, Behold, Ahayah our God hath showed us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that God do talk with man, and he liveth.
We have seen this day that our God do talk with man, and he liveth. They never seen this in Egypt.
Con.
Our God is the true living God. See?
Verse 25. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of Ahayah our God any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh that have heard the voice of the living God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as we have, and lived? Go thou near, and hear all that Ahayah our God shall say, and speak thou unto us all that Ahayah our God shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. And Ahayah heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto me, and the Most High said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. Oh, that there were such an heart in them, that they would fear me, and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go say to them.
So see what happens if we keep his commandments? He said it will go well with us and our children forever. Read.
Go say to them, get you into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. Ye shall observe to do therefore as Ahayah your God hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. Ye shall walk in all the ways which Ahayah your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess.
God. Next precept.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 20 through 25. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 20. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Ahayah our God have commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and Ahayah brought us out of Egypt with the mighty hand. And Ahayah showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And Ahayah commanded us to do all these statutes to fear Ahayah our God for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Ahayah our God, as he have commanded us.
We have to teach our sons about these testimonies, these days, especially this day, when he came down and gave us his covenant. He said, we do these, it would be our righteousness. It would be what would justify us in the day of judgment. Next precept.
Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 10. Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 10 reads, and Ahayah delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the finger of God.
Not with the finger of man, but with the finger of the Most High God.
Con. And on them was written according to all the words which Ahayah spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly.
In the what?
In the day of the assembly.
In the day of the assembly. Read.
Keep going.
No, that's it.
Con.
Josephus. Where's it at? I had it.
Look over here.
Ain't over there? It's in my truck. Thought I had it. He got it. Well, I know I brought it. Oh, that's what happened. The water. All right, last reading, y'all. So this day, now we'll get some more detail out of the book of Josephus concerning this great day of assembly. I left the other book.
Oh, yeah, I put that for
Oh, did you?
Minor.
Minor?
Said that, yeah.
Oh, okay. See, page 69, chapter 5. It says, how Moses ascended up to the Mount Sinai and received law from God and delivered them to the Hebrews. Now Moses called the multitude together. You read that. What's it about? Yeah. No, right here. Right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the other words. She just said.
That's it.
Oh.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Now Moses called the multitude together and told them that he was going from them unto Mount Sinai to converse with God, to receive from him, and to bring back with him a certain oracle. But he enjoined them to pitch their tents near the mountain.
And also, we'll get more background on the man Moses. Okay? Who most I call the meekest man on earth. We're going to see, give him a background on how righteous and how much of a man Moses, a real man, Moses was.
But he enjoined them to pitch their tents near the mountain and prefer the habitation that was nearest to God before one more remote. When he had said this, he ascended up to Mount Sinai, which is the highest of all the mountains that are in that country, and is not only very difficult to be ascended by man on account of its vast altitude.
It's what?
Its vast altitude. But because of the sharpness of it, its
That's why I gave it to you.
but because of the sharpness of its precipices, also, nay, indeed, it cannot be looked at without pain of the eyes. And besides this, it was terrible and inaccessible. On account of the rumor that passed about.
On account of who?
On account of the rumor.
That rumor still stands over there to this day. Read.
That passed about that God dwelt there. But the Hebrews removed their tents as Moses had bidden them, and took possession of the lowest parts of the mountain, and were elevated in their minds in expectation that Moses would return from God with promises of the good things he had proposed to them. So they feasted and waited for their conductor, and kept themselves pure as in other respects, and not accompanying with their wives for 3 days, as he had before ordered them to do. And they prayed to God that he would favorably receive Moses in his conversing with him, and bestow some such gift upon them by which they might live well. They also lived more plentifully as to their diet, and put on their wives and children more ornamental and decent clothing than they usually wore. So they passed 2 days in this way of feasting. But on the third day, before the sun was up, a cloud spread itself over the whole camp of the Hebrews.
Now check this out. Read.
Such a one as none had before seen.
Such as one have none ever seen. Read.
And encompassed the place where they had pitched their tents. And while all the rest of the air was clear, there came strong winds that raised up large showers of rain, which became a mighty tempest.
Storm.
There was also such lightning as was terrible to those that saw it.
It was what?
There was also such lightning as was terrible to those that saw it. And thunder with its thunderbolts were sent down, and declared God to be there present in a gracious way, to such as Moses desired he should be gracious. Now as to these matters, every one of my readers may think as he pleases. But I am under a necessity of relating this history as it is described in the sacred books.
So he is what? A necessity to do what?
Of relating this history.
This history, this day of remembrance. So why aren't our brothers and sisters under the same necessity as Josephus? He said, you can think what you want to think about this day, but he is compelled by the Most High God to write down this history concerning this day of assembly, the memorial blowing of the trumpets. Read.
But I am under a necessity of relating this history as it is described in the sacred books. This sight and the amazing sound that came to their ears.
Hold on, be easy. As it's what? Described in the what?
Sacred books.
Sacred books. All the records is talking about this great day of assembly. Not no 10 days to get yourself together for the Day of Atonement. Josephus never said nothing about no 10 days of grace the Most High give you. Like we was talking about this morning, that's like give me 10 days to sin or something. I got 10 days. I don't know if I'm going to live to see tomorrow. Joshua says, today choose what God you should serve. Mm-hmm. He never gave no one, even Abraham and his brother Nahor, he didn't give Abraham's brother 10 days to get right. He got in the fire, his heart went right, he was burnt with fire. Read.
This sight and the amazing sound that came to their ears disturbed the Hebrews.
This sight and the amazing sound, the exceedingly loud trumpets of the angels disturbed our forefathers. Read.
To a prodigious degree, for they were not such as they were accustomed to.
They were what?
For they were not such as they were accustomed to.
Some they never seen in their life. This sight and this sound, some they never heard and saw. Read.
And then the rumor that was spread abroad, how God frequented that mountain, greatly astonished their minds. So they sorrowfully contained themselves within their tents, as both supposing Moses to be destroyed by the divine wrath, and expecting the like destruction for themselves. When they were under these apprehensions, Moses appeared as joyful and greatly exalted. When they saw him, they were freed from their fear, and admitted of more comfortable hopes as to what was to come. The air also was become clear and pure of its former disorders, upon the appearance of Moses, whereupon he called together the people to a congregation, in order to their hearing what God would say to them. And when they were gathered together, he stood on an eminence whence they might all hear him, and said, God has received me graciously, O Hebrews, as he has formerly done, and has suggested a happy method of living for you.
A who?
A happy method of living for you.
Suggested a happy method of living. So his laws are not grievous. They are to give us the best life, best way of life. Read.
An order of political government.
He ordered what?
A political government.
A political government. He said if we obey his voice, we'll be above all people. He gave us the political government to rule the world in righteousness. Read.
And is now present in the camp. I therefore charge you for his sake, and the sake of his works, and what we have done by his means, that you do not put a low value on what I am going to say, because the commands have been given by me that now deliver them to you, nor because it is the tongue of man that delivers them to you. But if ye have a due regard to the great importance of the things themselves, you will understand the greatness of him whose institutions they are, and who has not disdained to communicate them to me.
See that? We are not to lowly esteem this day or the importance of what the Most High God established. And to be as those who say, you know, that's man, that's Moses. It's not. Moses is not me. But understand who gave us this institution, how important it is. We must understand who gave us these laws and commandments. Moses didn't give us the laws and commandments. Our God gave us these laws, statutes, judgments, ordinances, way of life. We have to exalt our way of life. We must highly esteem our way of life, not descend down to a heathenistic way of life, lawlessness. We must respect what the Most High gave us, as our righteous fathers and our righteous mothers did, when they all said they'd rather die than transgress. That's highly esteeming the institution the Most High gave us. He didn't give us religion. He gave us the best way of life to live on this earth. Right?
But if you have a due regard to the great importance of the things themselves, you will understand the greatness of him whose institutions they are, and who has not disdained to communicate them to me for our common advantage.
For who?
For our common advantage.
What advantage is there of a Jew? Romans chapter 3, verse 1. What advantage then have the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. He gave us the what? The common advantage. He taught us the things that please him, taught the things that angers him. He instructed us how to get life eternal. He instructed us how to be reconciled with him and to live with him forever in paradise. Read.
For it is not to be supposed that the author of these institutions is barely Moses, the son of Amram and Jochebed, but he who obliged the Nile to run bloody for your sakes, and tamed the haughtiness of the Egyptians by various sorts of judgments. He who provided a way through the sea for us. He who contrived a method of sending us food from heaven, when we were distressed for want of it. He who made the water to issue out of a rock, when he had very little of it before, when we had very little of it before. He by whose means Adam was made to partake of the fruits, both of the land and of the sea. He by whose means Noah escaped the deluge.
Hold on. Read that again. Adam what?
He by whose means Adam was made to partake of the fruits, both of the land and of the sea.
The clean animals. The clean creatures. Adam. See? He was eating sea moss. Read. Those who have ear, let them hear.
He by whose name. He by whose means Noah escaped the deluge. He by whose means our forefather Abraham, of a wandering pilgrim, was made the heir of the land of Canaan. He by whose means Isaac was born of parents that were very old. He by whose means Jacob was adorned with 12 virtuous sons. He by whose means Joseph became a potent lord over the Egyptians. He it is who conveys these instructions to you by me as his interpreter. And let them be to you venerable and contended for more earnestly by you than your own children and your own wives.
You see that? You see how important this day is? He said to put this above everything. Above your own wives and your own children. Read.
For if you will follow them, you will lead a happy life. You will enjoy the land fruitful, the sea calm, and the fruit of the womb born complete.
Blessings.
As nature requires, you will be also terrible to your enemies.
Dreadful.
For I have been admitted into the presence of God, and have been made a hearer of his incorruptible voice. So great is his concern for your nation and its duration.
See the love he has for us? So great his concern for us. He has angels coming down every day working with us, trying to get us to do right, to turn back from our evil ways so that we live. Read.
When he had said this, he brought the people with their wives and children so near the mountain that they might hear God himself speaking to them.
He brought who?
He brought the people with their wives and children.
Oh, so you mean that it wasn't no women in the tents with the children while the parents went up to the mount? I mean, to the foot of the mount?
Everybody.
The kids were with them too, huh?
He brought the people with their wives and children.
Oh, okay. With their wives and children. Read.
So near the mountain that they might hear God himself speaking to them about the precepts which they were to practice, that the energy of what should be spoken might not be hurt by its utterance by that tongue of a man, which could but imperfectly deliver it to their understanding. And they all heard a voice that came to all of them from above, insomuch that no one of these words escaped them, which Moses wrote on the 2 tables, which it is not lawful for us to set down directly, but their import we will declare. The first commandment teaches us that there is but one God, and that we ought to worship him only.
Only. The God that he just wrote about, that done all these marvelous things for our people. Read.
The second commands us not to make the image of any living creature to worship it. The third, that we must not swear by God in a false matter. The fourth, that we must keep the seventh day.
And part of that, using his name in vain, has been a hypocrite. Say you serve God, but you're a hypocrite. Let's use his name in vain. Profaning his name. Read.
The fourth, that we must keep the seventh day by resting from all sorts of work. The fifth, that we must honor our parents. The sixth, that we must abstain from murder.
From who?
Abstain from murder.
From murder. Read.
The seventh, that we must not commit adultery. The eighth, that we must not be guilty of theft. The ninth, that we must not bear false witness. The 10th, that we must not admitteth the desire of anything that is another's. Now when the multitude had heard God himself giving these precepts, which Moses had discoursed of, they rejoiced at what was said, and the congregation was dissolved. But on the following days they came to his tent, and desired him to bring them besides other laws from God. Accordingly he appointed such laws, and afterwards informed them in what manner they should act in all cases, which laws I shall make mention of in their proper time, but I shall reserve most of those laws for another work.
See, it's deeper than being zealous for his laws. We want to be zealous and obedient.
Con.
But we know the fate of these ones who was at first zealous for his laws and instructions. Read.
And make there a distinct explication of them. When matters were brought to this state, Moses went up again to Mount Sinai, of which he had told them beforehand. He made his ascent in their sight. And while he stayed there so long a time, for he was absent from them 40 days, fear seized upon the Hebrews, lest Moses should have come to any harm.
Now check this out.
Nor was there anything else so sad, and that so much troubled them as this supposal that Moses was perished. Now there was a variety in their sentiments about it, some saying that he was fallen among wild beasts, and those that were of this opinion were chiefly such as were ill disposed to him.
Now, who came down in the camp of the congregation and instilled fear? Thank you.
Con.
While the king was away, Satan came to destroy the flock. Gave them these ideals. Read.
But others said that he was departed and gone to God.
Now check this out. The Most High had already said that Moses was a servant. He's going to lead them to the promised land. So why would they doubt and think that God's going to abandon them after everything that he's done for them?
Con.
See what the devil's put into the minds of our forefathers?
Con.
Understand. See, I told y'all the thoughts that y'all have in your mind are not your own. It's of the adversaries trying to destroy you. Moses said that they came out of hard bonds as slaves. Why would he bring them all this way and do all these things just to leave them alone and let them die in the wilderness? Somebody convinced them of that. See? The evil spiritual adversaries. Read.
But the wiser sort were led by their reason to embrace neither of those opinions with any satisfaction, thinking that as it was a thing that sometimes happens to men to fall among wild beasts and perish that way, so it was probable enough that he might depart and go to God. On account of his virtue, they therefore were quiet and expected the event, yet were they exceeding sorry upon the supposal that they were deprived of a governor and a protector.
A who? A governor and a protector.
Con.
See, meekness don't mean you soft and weak. It mean you temperate. A governor and a protector. Read.
Such a one indeed as they could never recover again, nor would this suspicion give them leave to expect any comfortable event about this man.
So they can replace Moses.
Nor could they prevent their trouble and melancholy upon this occasion. However, the camp durst not remove all this while, because Moses had bidden them afore to stay there. But when the 40 days and as many nights were over, Moses came down, having tasted nothing of food, usually appointed for the nourishment of men. His appearance filled the army with gladness, and he declared to them what care God had of them, and by what manner of conduct of their lives they might live happily, telling them that during these days of his absence he had suggested to him also that he would have a tabernacle built for him, into which he would descend when he came to them, and how we should carry it about with us when we remove from this place, and that there would be no longer any occasion for going up to Mount Sinai, but that he would himself come and pitch his tabernacle amongst us, and be present at our prayers, as also that the tabernacle should be of such measures and construction as he has shown him, and that you are to fall to the work.
Hold on. Revelation chapter 21, verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they should be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. See? It has not changed. He always desired to be with us. He said, no longer would be an occasion where I will call Moses to Mount, I will come down and dwell with you. At your prayers, I will come down. You will hear me speak to Moses, so you know that it is coming from me. But the finale, in the new world, he'll really be with us. We should see his face. Read.
And that there would be no longer any occasion for going up to Mount Sinai, but that he would himself come and pitch his tabernacle amongst us, and be present at our prayers, as also that the tabernacle should be of such measures and construction as he has shown him, and that you are to fall to the work and prosecute it diligently. When he had said this, he showed them 2 tables with the 10 commandments engraven upon them, 5 upon each table, and the writing was by the hand of God.
And the writing was by the hand of the Most High God, Ahayah. All hail Ahayah.
All hail Ahayah.
As we see that this is the great day of assembly, the day of the memorial blowing on the trumpets, as it's written, right? But I pray that all of us take heed to what the servants of the Most High and the Most High was saying concerning the importance of us understanding what he gave us. It's not just fringes to remember the law. We remember that our law came from God himself. The name of God came from God himself. The way of life that we should live, a happy life, came from our God, Ahayah. It's a great day to remember that he came down from heaven to establish his covenant with our fathers. He gave us a common advantage to have a certain sense of peace in a world of chaos, to have a hope that the world don't know of, have a kingdom, a world that's at hand that the world don't know of. Stand fast, saints. Be immovable, for our king is coming. Yes, sister. Sister Taisha, the microphone.
I just had a question, like how do we celebrate the blowing of the trumpets? Like how, as if the Passover, how we get like real excited, it'd be like almost like a real holy day. Like how do we do like the blowing of the trumpet as far as celebrating how we get together on Passover?
You're talking about days, it's holy days of multiple days. We're able to be together like that. It's a holy convocation. We're here. We're about to break bread. We can put some music on. Y'all want to cut the rug. We can move the tables. You know what I'm saying? But it's a feast day. It's for us to eat, drink, and be merry amongst his people and have righteous fun. However y'all desire to do. But it's just those 2 days, like the Passover and the Tabernacles, it's multiple days, so we're together, you know. So yeah, but there's no specific way, but we must get together and remember this day, go over what it is and the feast. Okay, yeah. But you don't cut the rug, girl. I got a bad knee, but I might get a little 1-2 in. Okay. Any more questions, comments? Take heed to what I pray you all take heed to what you just heard, and I pray it was edifying for all, but to understand the truth of the moral of the blowing of the trumpets, the great day of assembly. Okay, If you had tuned in and late, if you were on Facebook, please go to our YouTube page, Awakening Ahayah Select Church. It's behind me. You get the proper spelling of it. And go. As a matter of fact, all our lessons are on YouTube. Facebook is something that we just do as an extra gem or Jew. But YouTube is our actual channel where all our lessons are stored. Check them out. I pray again that they're edifying. As Most High say, eat up. Shabbat Shalom.
Kwam Yasha Allah.